So you've been assigned to come to Cape Girardeau. Congratulations. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons about living in Cape Girardeau and what it really means to live in Cape Girardeau so you know exactly what to expect when you get here. Welcome back. My name's Amber Kimbrell and I have lived here my whole life. I graduated from SEMO and I've been doing real estate in this area for almost 2 decades. I manage furnished and unfurnished rentals here in the Cape Girardeau and Jackson area, and I have a ton of experience helping professionals like you navigate Cape Girardeau and making themselves as comfortable as possible while they're here in Cape Girardeau. So let's talk about Cape a little bit. Cape is the biggest small town in between St. Louis and Memphis. And when you're assigned to Cape, you're probably thinking, oh, a river town, this is gonna be so much fun, but not so much. So yes, we live on a riverside. I'm looking at the river right here in front of me right now. And you would think marinas and ports and personal boats, and that's not at all how it is. So our river actually has a really steep bank and water runs through it very, very fast. So it's not really safe. It's not very clean either. I don't see anyone taking a swim in there for safety reasons and just dirty. But it does create an amazing highway. So basically what our river is, it's a port. It's a highway for aggregate and agricultural and grain. And so basically we are an economic hub based on the river, and our river is our transportation highway. So there are ports here, but they are for loading our barges. So that is a common sight that you will see is a barge going up and down this river. And we do have a train track that runs right next to the river as well. So if you're in the downtown area, you might be able to catch a sight of a barge and train going by together, which is kind of cool. So not only are we the economic hub because of the agricultural movement up and down the river, we also are home to Southeast Missouri State University, which is a university that has about 9,500 students. Those students are here not usually year-round. With all the different cultures that SEMO brings to our area, it makes our town feel like a little bit more diverse town. It makes it feel like a little bigger town than what it actually is, and that also brings constant activity. The good thing about Southeast Missouri State University, what we call SEMO, is it's more of a regional school instead of just a private school. So it really brings in people from all over the country, really, and we do have international students as well. Another huge economic factor that draws people to Cape Girardeau, and it might be why you're coming here, is we have 2 hospitals here in town. They're both state-of-the-art, and one is called Mercy Southeast, and then the other one is St. Francis. Both of them have traveling professionals. I've worked closely with both of those, and I have homes located very close to both of those hospitals as well. Cape Girardeau might look like a small town, but with the 2 competing hospitals, we actually service a lot of the smaller regions in this area, and a lot of people drive hours to get here for the healthcare service. All right, so let's dive into what my travelers normally really enjoy about Cape Girardeau. One, we've already talked about the healthcare system. They actually really enjoy working at our hospitals. A lot of them actually extend. So a 3-month booking may turn into a 6-month stay. So just be aware of that. You might make a lot of friends. You might really enjoy our little area, and then you'll want to stay, which is great. Another thing is the cost of living. It's a lot cheaper here. The U.S. average home price is around $338,000, and our average home price here is around $245,000. So that means our homes are about 40–45% cheaper than the national average. But not only that, we are a college town, so a lot of people like the different diversities, the different cultures that come in and cycle throughout town, all the events that get brought because of the college, whether it be the football game or some parties that get thrown. If you like the nightlife, that's about the only nightlife you're going to get here because we don't have too many, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Outdoor recreation, we have a lot of state parks here. We have the river walk that I talked about with the mural with the history of Cape. We have a lot of historic sites that you can visit. We have a bike trail, which is a lot of fun. A bike trail that you can walk, bike. It goes throughout the whole town, actually. It starts one end of the town and snakes its way through and actually comes out right down here, downtown. We have a Saturday farmers market every Saturday morning that in the warmer months, of course. And that's where you can get homegrown produce that is grown here, local here. You can find some arts and crafts, some plant vendors if you're a plantee. But with every city, there has to be a con, right? Can't always be good. So here are a few things that I have found that my travelers struggle with when they stay here. And everybody's different, you know. So it's all based on what you like. If you come from a bigger city, you might not like it here because it is a small town. The biggest thing is we don't have as many amenities as the bigger towns do. If you've come to love being able to ice skate or skating rinks, like we don't have those options here anymore. We did when I was a girl, but they have since closed down. And one of the biggest things that I think I would struggle with if I lived in a bigger city and then had to come here would be our grocery stores. We have a Schnucks, which is the best place you're gonna find the biggest selection of organic or fresh food deli-wise, like that you can just go in on your lunchtime and grab and get. We do have a health food store that is dedicated to health food here, but other than that, we have Walmart and we have Aldi, and that's about it. So no Trader Joe's, no Whole Foods. And if you are one of the executives for either of those places, please, please, please come to Cape. I would love to have you, and I know a lot of people who would, but that is just not something we have here. Schnucks and Walmart, Aldi's, those are going to be your three choices for groceries. Or farmer's market if you want to go that route. But that's on Saturdays and only during warm weather, so make sure you time that right. As we're talking about stores, we have TJ Maxx, we have Target, we have Staples, we just got a Sierra. We're actually the only Sierra in Missouri at this point. We have a Maurice's. We have a mall that's been, it kind of went vacant. And then here in the past year or so, they've turned half of it into more anchor stores. So traveling around our city, we are very car dependent here. We do not have a public transportation system at all. Maybe I shouldn't say at all. We have this Cape County Transit Authority, which is we call CTA. So CTA is more what I feel is dedicated to the older community. Whenever the older community can't drive to their doctor's appointments, they'll make an appointment with CTA to pick them up and take them to the doctor's appointments. However, in my experience, if you don't want to rely on CTA to get to your job every day, like that would not be a very smart move. I do know we have Uber and Lyft services available. I personally don't use it because I just have my own vehicle here. It's much easier. About everywhere has a parking lot, so if you have a vehicle, I highly suggest bringing it. It will not be a walking city as you may think. If you stay in a place like this one right here, River Oaks, you are in walking distance of downtown Cape. So that way you could ride your bike down to Cape. I've had a lot of people walk downtown Cape, and that's also where the farmers market is every Saturday morning. So like that would be more walkable, but you're not going to walk to the hospitals from here. So traveling in, our airport, we have a regional airport. It is getting bigger. We are starting to offer more flights out of here. So at this point, you can leave Cape and you can go to Nashville and you can go to Dallas. I believe they were bringing on some summer flights to get you down to like the Florida area, but I don't know how long that's going to be going on. So our airport's still steadily trying to improve, but it's not an international airport. You're not going to get any major flights out to any other major cities. You're probably going to take this flight over to Nashville or Dallas, and then you're going to get onto as a connecting flight, and then you're going to get onto a bigger plane to go elsewhere or move on from there. As far as like general aviation, if you yourself have an airplane, we do have a very small general aviation population here at the Cape Girardeau Regional Airport. Don't expect to have a hangar. Our hangars are booked up. I hope they build some more here in the future, but it hasn't happened yet. Some people struggle with the nightlife here. We have some bars downtown, and that's about it. I haven't been to them in years, but I think they close like at 1 maybe, and then it's just a dead town after that. There's not many options as far as nightlife here at all. So some people, if you're used to those amenities, in the nightlife, it's just not here. You might struggle with that some. So our weather depends on where you're coming from if you're going to be used to how humid our summers can get. Our summers are very, it's a wet humid. So you can step out and be drenched in sweat and it not even be that hot temperature-wise, but the humidity is so, so high. It's actually higher here than it is in like Florida. I travel down to Florida like once or twice a year, and that heat I can totally handle because at least I'm not here getting drenched. Our winters can get very, very cold. We can get below freezing for many days in a row. And along with that, we have, and honestly, it can go from warm, nice 70s down to 32 and below in the same day. It's very, especially right now in the spring, it fluctuates very quickly. And during the spring, we also have thunderstorms and possible tornadoes. So if you are looking for a home and you are scared of tornadoes, please make sure you get a home with a basement or at least a building that will allow you to get to the basement. Not all buildings are made the same. Here in Cape Girardeau, there is a lot of older housing stock. So be very careful whenever you're looking at housing. There are some neighborhoods that I would steer clear of. And if you were to happen to get into one of those neighborhoods, I think you would probably really, really not like your stay in Cape. But there are some very great neighborhoods that I can show you that I think you would really enjoy your time here if you were to find those houses. And those houses can be updated, and some are not updated, but still very clean and very safe. So let's do an honest reality check. If you're used to the bigger city and you come to Cape, you might not like it completely here. I think you'll still be okay. I mean, it's not podunk, nothing around. We do have amenities here. You'll be fine. You just might not like it as well. But for many people, the trade-off is exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for a smaller town, slower pace, but still have some amenities, still feel at home, still have nice things. And Cape Girardeau can provide that. People don't necessarily choose Cape Girardeau. It's not like the top of their list, like, ooh, let's go to Cape Girardeau. But once they get here, they truly do start to love Cape, and it becomes more than what they expected. I work a lot with traveling professionals and people relocating to Cape Girardeau. If you have any questions at all about housing, about the economy, about the market, please feel free to reach out. I'm open. I can answer any questions, and I sure would be happy to help place you in a place that you would feel safe during your time here in Cape. If you thought this video was helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will be posting more about all things living in Cape. I'll even do some driving tours so you can see what the town looks like. And if you want a personal driving tour, please do use the form below. Reach out to me and I can set that up for you.